Euro 2024 is just a couple of days away now. And since my last video, I've made a few changes to my team. So here is my final draft ahead of Euro 2024. Now, before I get into the actual players themselves, I thought I'd draw attention to some stats that I found really useful when it comes to actually picking a team in this game. Elevenify, I will leave a link to their website in the description, have done a fantastic job with clean sheet odds for each team, goal scoring odds for each player and team as well. And I found it really useful basically when it comes to selecting a team in this game. So then, in terms of best defences, I think there are, well, 4 teams that are emerging to be really strong, with the odd other team having a really strong fixture mixed in. So we've got England, Germany, Portugal and Belgium. In each of their games, they're above 30% to keep a clean sheet. So for me, I'd be relatively happy starting a defender from each of these teams in pretty much every game. So for me, basically says pick a defender from those teams. Looking specifically at match day 1, we've got Italy with a 55% odds to keep a clean sheet. That's obviously in their game against Albania. We've got the Netherlands, we've got Poland, 42%, Denmark, 45%, Switzerland, 36%, Turkey, 35%. So a few teams mixed in there with good clean sheet odds for match day 1. But like I said, those top 4 teams there are the kind of teams you should be picking from, because you can pick them in your team and then just leave them with the odds that they have. So that leads me quite nicely then into talking about my goalkeepers and defenders. I've gone for Verbruggen and Pickford as my 2 keepers. I quite like the idea of having 2 bites of the cherry, basically, of getting some points out of a goalkeeper. And I think Verbruggen at 4.5 is probably the strongest 4.5 million goalkeeper in the game. And I just really like England's consistent chances of getting clean sheets in every game. I don't necessarily think that they're going to be quite as strong defensively as they have been in previous tournaments. You know, as an Englishman myself, I do doubt their defence a little bit, which is why I like having 2 bites of the cherry of a goalkeeper. Now, I do like Diogo Costa and Castells. Costa plays Portugal in Castells of Belgium. Unfortunately, I'm already tripled up on their teams. You can probably guess some of those tripled up players are, right? So, like I said, I do think those 2 are probably slightly stronger than Jordan Pickford, just with the question marks I have in my mind about the England defence. So I can't go for them anyway, basically. In the actual defence, I've got Castagna, Mittelstadt, DeMarco, Valfas and Cancelo. Belgium, really good, consistent clean sheet odds throughout the tournament. I think Castagna is going to be nice and attacking fullback, just consistently there, starting every game. Hopefully some ball recoveries, attacking returns and clean sheets for him. I mean, Mittelstadt is basically a cheat code. If you don't have him in your team already, I think you're making a mistake. Starting left back for Germany, only 4 million. You know, Germany kind of historically, I guess is the word I'm looking for, struggle for fullbacks in international competitions, right? Particularly left back has been few and far between players that have actually played there. Mostly it's been, you know, centre backs repurposed there. Mittelstadt, he plays for Stuttgart full time as a left back. He's pretty accomplished on an international level now as well. Got a few attacking returns, played pretty well for Germany. They've got really nice clean sheet odds. The home side, so you know, I think that'll be a factor in most of their games. Decent from an attacking perspective and ball recovery, so he's just got multiple routes for points, and he's only 4 million. DeMarco, Italy have got Albania first up. Those are some really strong clean sheet odds there. If you look at that, what are they? 55%, the top team in the game for clean sheet odds in match day 1. I think they'll probably keep a clean sheet in that game. DeMarco, really strong from an attacking point of view as well. And ultimately, after match day 1, I might even look to sell him. I just don't see the need to keep him in my team. I don't think Italy are going to have that strong of a tournament. But opening things up against Albania, who I think are probably the weakest side in the tournament, can't go wrong in my mind. And at 5 million, I think he's a bargain compared to like the likes of Di Lorenzo, the other wing back for Italy, being 0.5 more. I think it makes sense to go for DeMarco. Valfas, not really too much to say about him. Alongside Mittelstadt, I think he's probably the second best 4 million defender in the game, just with Belgium's clean sheet odds. Got a chance for attacking returns, right? He's going to start, but he's only 4 million. And then João Cancelo, I think Portugal are one of my favourites to win the entire thing. They've got a really nice defence, a good holding midfielder, and then a really nice attack. And we all know how good João Cancelo is when it comes to attacking and going forwards. Remember that from his Man City days, right? I think that form is going to continue into Euro 2024. I think he's going to have a good tournament for both clean sheet and attacking returns. And who knows, it might be good for ball recoveries as well. He is quite expensive at 6 million, but I just think he's probably the best attacking fullback in world football. I think that's a pretty safe claim, right? So for that reason, I think he's going to be a really nice option. So a couple of predicted goal stats just to go through before I talk through my midfield and forwards. Here are the predicted goals for each player. Well, the top players for predicted goals, I should say, for Elevenify. Got Mbappe, Kane, Ronaldo and Lukaku as the top four. You can see their total expected goals over the group stages on the right. I think Lukaku will probably do a bit better than that. In fact, I'm almost of the mind that of the four top ones, Kane could come in bottom. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm not sure Kane is going to absolutely explode out of the blocks this tournament. If England get far, much like he has done in the previous two international tournaments, I expect him to become more of a factor in the knockout stages. But with the way he likes to drift deep in that England team, I just don't see him being on the end of as many chances as Mbappe, Ronaldo and Lukaku do. Lewandowski, unfortunately, is out of the tournament with an injury. Bruno Fernandes is the top midfielder, Bellingham being the second midfielder. Well, you can see the rest of the names there for yourself. Feel free to pause the video if you want to look through them. One more thing was just the predicted goals for each team as well. So the teams that Elevenify expect to score the most goals. The top five are Portugal, England, Germany, France and Belgium. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the kind of players and the teams that we should be selecting from that are expected to score the most goals. Okay then, with all of that information in mind, here is my midfield. I've gone for İlkay Gündoğan, expected to be the German penalty taker. I'm not sure he's necessarily going to play 90 minutes every game. I do expect him to get a few early subs, but I think still at 7 million, he's great value. And when you look at his individual goal scoring odds, they're better than any, well, apart from Havertz at least, any other German midfielder. Obviously, Havertz is classed as a forward in this game. So, for example, Wirtz, who comes in at 7.5, Gündoğan has better goal scoring chances, according to Elevenify at least, and is 0.5 million cheaper, and he's on penalties, which I really like. I think that probably boosts his odds of scoring, just the fact he's on penalties. Szoboszlai, country captain for Hungary on all of the set pieces, pens, corners, free kicks, you name them, he takes them. I think he's a really good option in this game. Potential for some ball recoveries too. Just absolute talismanic figure for Hungary, and I think he's going to rack up shots and goals and hopefully assists as well. I think he's a really good option in this game. Rodri for Spain. He's going to be excellent for ball recoveries, which is worth a point, I believe, for 3 ball recoveries. He was averaging 7 ball recoveries per game during the qualifiers. So you're basically guaranteed 2 extra points every time Rodri steps out on a football pitch if he continues those numbers. So I really like that. We all know like the attacking form and goal scoring form, etc. he was in for Man City this season. And I guarantee, well, I've been told at least he is the Spain penalty taker. So I think all of those things combined, he's a good option at 6.5. Likewise, Shaqiri. In fact, all 5 of these midfielders, bar of course Bruno, but he may take some during the tournament if Ronaldo is not on the pitch. They're all penalty takers. Shaqiri is expected to be the penalty taker for Switzerland, free kick taker too, and just in previous international tournaments for them, he's been an absolutely talismanic figure for Switzerland. He always seems to net a fair few goals, and I really like him as an option. And then Bruno Fernandes in absolutely outrageous form for Portugal. I think in the last 32 international games he's played for Portugal, he's got 33, 34 goals / assists, attacking returns. So yeah, the guy is absolutely incredible for Portugal, and I think he's probably the best midfielder in this game. Up front then is where I've probably made my biggest changes to the team. I've gone for Ronaldo instead of Harry Kane. When mentioning the goal scoring odds, I kind of gave away why that is the case. I just feel like Kane, with his more likelihood to drop deep, etc., and get involved in chance creation, I think it just means he's going to be less likely to get on the end of chances and score goals, particularly in the group stages. I mean, we all know the kind of play style of Cristiano Ronaldo, right? He wants to be the central goal-scoring talismanic figure, whereas Kane likes to be more involved with the way the team build up. And yes, I think that's probably, on the whole, better for Kane and the England team than Ronaldo being just the star man. I think it probably means Ronaldo scores more points, right? Takes penalties and free kicks. And he had, if you watched his highlights in the friendly he played against Ireland, I think you'll be almost completely sold on getting him in your team. He was absolutely incredible in that game and looked like a Ronaldo of, I don't know, 2 or 3 seasons ago, and he was really playing at the top level. I think he's going to have a really strong tournament, and I predicted, if you watch my Euro 2024 predictions video, I predict Portugal to get to the final, and I expect them to play France. I think they're a really, really strong team, have creativity all over, blasting in those chances for Ronaldo, who is going to be taking the free kicks and penalties. I expect him to have a really strong tournament. The only thing I would question is whether he will play 90 minutes every game. I imagine for match day 1 and 2, he probably does. And then match day 3, particularly if Portugal are already through on 6 points, he could get rotated, but I'm already planning to use a chip then in match day 3. I'll talk a little bit more about my chip strategy in a second. Mbappe, I mean, I genuinely think he's going to be the top scorer in the tournament, right? And yes, my captain's on Gundogan for the way the captaincy rules work, but I do expect Mbappe to probably be the top scoring player in match day 1. And then Lukaku as well, in incredible form for Belgium. You know, I don't need to say any more about him. He's guaranteed to start, takes their penalties. I just couldn't find room for Harry Kane in there because I think these 3 guys are just going to score more goals than Harry Kane. And here's where we are then, just in a bit of a summary of my team. I've actually got 0.5 remaining in the bank. And to be honest, I think after DeMarco plays Albania, I'm already kind of penning in a transfer for him. So he can go for any of the 5.5 million defenders. And I think 1 or 2 might emerge from match day 1 that look to be really good options. So I'm keeping flexible about what I do with him. It's just quite nice to have the 0.5 million in the bank to decide. I honestly, Shaqiri was the player that I was looking to upgrade to a sort of 7 million midfielder. Eriksen's there at that price, but personally, I actually prefer Shaqiri. I think he's going to be playing a little bit further forward than Eriksen, and he's a little bit cheaper. And I think just having a little bit extra flexibility in my team makes things a lot easier. Because, for example, if Ronaldo doesn't start match day 1 or something stupid happens with a player getting injured in my front line, if I sell DeMarco for someone like Jonathan Tah, for example, I can get Kane back into my team nice and easily if I want to. So, yeah, like I said, I do think Ronaldo probably outscores Kane during the group stages, but I think I have enough flexibility here. If I need to make a major change to my team for match day 2, I can do it. Just before I end the video, I wanted to go through my chip strategy. In my last one, I was talking between a couple chip strategies, basically. One being a limitless in match day 3 and a wild card in match day 2. But with the players that I've got in this team, I think a limitless in match day 3 and a wild card, staying quite flexible about it and using it sometime during the knockouts when I most need it. I think it's quite a safe chip strategy, but with the way my team is kind of structured, I think it makes sense. Most of my team have good fixtures throughout the group stages, and they kind of turn poor in the match day 3 sort of time when players might already be through, teams might already be through, etc., and there could be some rotation. I quite like the thought of playing the limitless chip in match day 3 and picking good players from the teams that still have something to fight for, if that makes sense. So I think for me, that's the best use of the limitless chip. I wouldn't use the wild card here because ultimately, you know, it's only going to last for 1 week. And then the wild card, sometime during the knockout, I do expect there to be some upsets in the knockout stages. You know, we'll fill our teams with teams we expect to get far, but 1 or 2 of those teams could get knocked out, and we just won't have enough transfers in my mind to deal with those players getting knocked out. So I'd quite like to leave the wild card for opportunities there. So yeah, that's my team, and here's my chip strategy. All right, and that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that little summary there of all the players that I've picked, my reasons for doing so, and what I think will be pretty much my starting team now ahead of Euro 2024 fantasy football. I might make 1 more video ahead of match day 1, but I think on my channel, you've pretty much got all the content and information you need now to build your own team. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed all the content ahead of the Euros fantasy game beginning and the Euro tournament starting. Just thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed to the channel, liked and watched all my videos. The growth I've had on this channel has been insane since it all kicked off, and yeah, that's all thanks to you guys for watching my videos. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and yeah, I'll catch you for either a quick little match day 1 preview or something around match day 2 when the time comes. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.